Welcome to the Middleware Tech YouTube channel. In this series, you'll learn about Python object relationship. Null code examples used in the videos will be available on GitHub. Let's get started.
I'm saying in such a way that if you're doing first time programming side, then also it will be understandable to everyone. Okay. So object, we talked about object. Object, we said that whatever the things you find in real life, we can define it as an object. And object have some attribute and action. Similarly, object, when you talk about object relationship, multiple objects can have some relationship in between. We can define a relationship between multiple objects. So this relationship is divided into two categories. One is called is a relationship, another is called has a relationship. What does it mean by this? Is a relationship has alternative name called inheritance. Inheritance is nothing but the easy relationship between multiple objects. Similarly, has a relationship has some other name called association. Association. It is called has a relationship. Now, let me understand this using an example. It will be much more specific. I'm going to define the relationship between two objects. Assume I have one object called vehicle, and we have another one object called car. If you see here, or I have another one object called bike. Fine. So if you see the object, so bike vehicle object has its own attributes and behavior. And car is one type of vehicle. So car will get all the attributes of vehicle plus car have its own attributes. Similarly, bike will also get its attribute of vehicle plus bike has its own attribute, right? So that what you find is that you have three objects: vehicle, car, and bike. So the thing is that here I can define it like that. Car is a vehicle. I can define the relationship, object relationship in case of is a like that. That car is car is a vehicle. Car is a vehicle. So when I say car is a vehicle, so car is an object, vehicle is an object. So I'm going to define the object relationship between car object and the vehicle object using this is a relationship, where vehicle is a base class and car is a derived class. So that means car is a type of vehicle. This is said to be is an easy relationship between two objects, where one object will get all the attribute from the other object, plus this object has its own attribute. So this is called easy relationship. Easy relationship is nothing but inheritance. So one object has its own attribute, plus it will get all the attributes from the other object. Similarly, you can define here object relationship between bike. So you can write here bike is a vehicle. So like this way, between multiple objects, you can implement relationship. So easy relationship is an inheritance. Is nothing but one object is going to get some attribute from other object, so that I don't have to right? So this is one of the concept. Easy is one type of object relationship, is nothing but inheritance. Similarly, we have another one object relationship is there, that is called has a relationship. We have another one object relationship that is called has a relationship. What is has a relationship? Now in this case, one object extending the properties from other object, right? Here one object will extend the properties from other object. Fine. Okay. Whereas in case of has a relationship, that I'm trying to define association, how I can define association between two objects? Let me understand this association using an example. Now take two objects. One is called classroom, and take another one object called chair. Okay. So I have two objects, classroom and chair. Now what I want to do is that I want to implement a relationship between these two objects. So how I can define the relationship between these two objects? We can say like classroom have chair. So the relationship name. So what is the relationship name? Relationship name is have. Now classroom have chair. Classroom is an object, chair is an object, but here one object is not extending the property for my other object. If you see, one object contain other object, because classroom have chair. So if you see this association between this relationship between these two objects is like that, one object contain another object. If this is the scenario, then that object relationship is called has a relationship or association, where one object contain other object. Okay, one object contain other object. If this is the scenario, that is called object association. Okay, fine. Now here you can define, there is another one concept called cardinality. What is the meaning of cardinality? See, when I'm defining the relationship between two objects, classroom and chair, you can define like one classroom have many chair. When I say one classroom and many chair, that means you're going to put some number in your object relationship, right? Like 1:many. So that numbering is defined as a cardinality. 1:many, that I can define 1:many, many is to many, and then many to one, and then one. See, when you are going to define the object relationship using a number, then we define it as a cardinality. Okay, so when I define the object relationship when one object contains another object, that type of object relationship is called association, and it is said to be as a has a relationship. And when you find one object will extend the properties from other object, that time the object relationship is called easy relationship or inheritance. Now we have this. I've given only two examples. So like this way, object relationship we can categorize as has a relationship or is a relationship. Fine. Now the question is how I can implement this is a relationship and has a relationship using Python. Okay, because this is another one important oops concept, that is inheritance is another oops concept. Still now we talked about the oops concept, that is class and object. The third oops concept is inheritance. Inheritance is another one important oops concept. So we try to explore here inheritance as well as association. I'll give one example of association also using